everybody, hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video. This is match day 4 of my Bookish World Cup and we have got a match on our hands because these are Sweden versus the USA, and these are both heavyweights in women's football, so I'm excited. Also, I'm so excited to get to these two books. Representing Sweden, we have My Grandmother Sends Her Regards and Apologies by Fredrik Backman, and this is translated from Swedish by Henning Ko. I am so excited to read this. This just sounds like it's probably going to make me cry because that's what Backman does to me, but I shall explain what this book is about when we get to it. But representing the USA, which I again super excited about, is Paul Takes the Form of a Mortal Girl by Andre Lawlor. This is just sort of very queer, very 90s, and I just can't wait. So like the other matches, which you can check up there if you want to, I'm going to read the first third of this, third of that, second third of that, and hopefully give you updates on each third and how the match is progressing. But I think this is going to be the closest call to make, but we shall just see. So yeah, I'm super excited to get stuck into these, and stay tuned for the first update. Hey, so guess who went on a 2-month-long national break? This book, as well as this book. Yeah, so the last update I posted on my Goodreads for My Grandmother Sends Her Regards and Apologies was on the 22nd of October, and I am now currently filming this update. Well, it's not an update yet because I haven't started it, but anyway, on the 3rd of January 2024. So yeah, this match has been going on for a long time. Let's just say it was suspended. They was doing their international duties, but they have to, you know, play for a club as well, and that is what they were doing all this time whilst I was reading other things, mostly thrillers, to be honest. But now they're back and they're ready for their international duties, and I need to like probably reread the last chapter and then read some more of this and see how the match progresses between Sweden and the USA. So yeah, that's my little update. See you soon. Hopefully not 2 months time, but you never know. You never know. It's already been a week since I restarted reading this, and I'm like literally like not much through it at all. I think I've read maybe like 40 pages. Do you know what I just don't like is that there's like the writing is quite small and it goes from the top to the bottom of the page, as a book should, I know that, but still, and it's a bit dense. It's quite wordy is what I'm struggling with, and I can't really totally get on board with the character and just follow it. I think it might have been better if it was like first person. I think that would maybe be a bit more like interesting. You can actually get inside her head, but yeah, it's just wordy and it's long, and I don't know if I'm enjoying this. I don't know. Basically, I'm just gonna say what it's about now because anyway, so Elsie and Elsa and her grandmother are like really close, and they like share stories, like imaginary stories and things like that. And then her grandmother has cancer, and I this is a spoiler because like, it happens really soon in, but let's just say Granny leaves the scene. You can do with that as you wish. And she's left with like apparently a series of letters, and she needs to like give them to different people. And it's quite slow. Also Elsa is like dealing with like bullying at school, and yeah, that bit's quite raw, to be honest. Yeah, this is sort of an irrelevant update, but anywho, I did it, and I need to read some more of this. It's just long. It's just really, really long. I want to get onto Paul. Anywho, that's not to say I'm not enjoying it per se. It's just long and a slog. And yeah, see, it's a bit of a weird angle, but I don't want to get something to fill you up with. Anywho, I finally finished the first third of My Grandmother Sends.
So I can take that little bit out. Actually, no, I can't. I need it for my bookmark. Actually, no, I've got my proper bookmark. Oh, I am all over the place at the moment. But anyway, I
finished that. Basically, nothing really as much has happened since the last update. It's just Elsa is trying to, she's meeting with grandmother's like friends in a way, sort of thing, and her granny is sort of left somewhat of like a treasure hunt in a way for her to follow. And I think I've actually ended it on quite a good bit, because at the end of the bit it says, because now she knows where to find the next clue in Granny's treasure hunt. And yeah, but still it is wordy, and I don't really know if I'm enjoying it that much. But anywho, I'm going to start this now. Paul takes the form of a mortal girl. Really, really excited. And let's see how this goes. Like a shark, Paul has to keep moving. He slept only when necessary. He had business with the world, codes to crack, so many questions. Tonight, for example, Paul needed to know what effing was like for girls. Okay. At this moment in time, read the first third of Paul Takes the Form of a Mortal Girl, and also read the second third of My Grandmother Sends Her Apologies and Regards. And I thought I would give an update. So we've had our first like third of the match, and I'm gonna say that at like that moment in time, the USA has got a goal, so they are 1-0 up, but it's definitely not a secured victory. Sweden is still piling up the pressure, and it seems like we're in for a very tight ending to the match. But what is this book about? This is following Paul, Polydorus his name is, but it's never actually said yet in what I've read. And it's 1993. He works in this like gay bar in Iowa City, and honestly there's not much plot. It's just vibes, and it's like a character like study in a way. Paul is a shapeshifter, and he changes his body to like look more like masculine or like different certain things like when he wants to, and he also like changes to like a female body and like sort of like puts on sort of another persona when he's like doing that. And we're basically just following him, just like going around his like with his friend and like roommate Christopher and his lesbian friend. I want to say Jane, but it might be Jeanette or something. I can't remember now, but it says something like that. And it's very like quite sexualized in a way, and the just sort of like what he's thinking about and stuff. And as he goes into like the female body, he sort of is experiencing like, do I feel more me in a sense? I want to say the author is non-binary, I believe, and it sort of teeters on that sort of like idea of what is his gender identity and like exploring that, but most of the time he is like gay, and yeah, he has quite a lot of like relationships, and like it's in there, everyone knows him in like the town and likes him, and yeah, honestly, I don't really know what's going to be happening now. It says on here that he takes that travels across America from Iowa City to San Francisco. So I'm gonna get the sense that possibly he goes a bit on for like an adventure or something, like, because at the moment it's all just really been in Iowa, and they also go to this like music festival in Michigan, and it's not a spoiler, but like he meets like a girl there, and it was only meant to be for women, the event, so he put on the persona of a woman, and the bit that I like stopped it at, which was like it is in the middle of a chapter, because the chapters are quite long, and it seems like this woman has come to see him, and but he's in his boy form at the moment, so what's gonna happen there? So yeah, so I'm really enjoying this. I just think like the intense like character studies, and it's also quite humorous, and I'm just enjoying it at the moment quite a lot. Although I'm not someone that really likes reading like a lot of sex stuff, it's not like that like much, or like there is definitely, it is there, but it's not the main focus of it. And yeah, and for that reason they have got a goal already against Sweden, which has just been very, very slow building up, and yeah, honestly little has happened. But now we do come on to this, and in the second third, we're just exploring more of Elsa trying to find out what her grandmother like has done in her past, and we're getting introduced to loads of different like characters that are like in the building, and they also are in these different stories that her grandmother told her from the land of not awake or something like that, but they're based in reality, and I am enjoying how things are fitting together, but still it's just taking such a long time, and it is just very, very dense, and it's so tangented, and I don't know if I'm really enjoying it per se. It's just taking a lot, but I feel like how this finishes and concludes, it could be a banger, but at the moment it is very slow. And as I was saying that how it could become a banger, this is getting a little bit repetitive, quite a bit actually, and if it continues in that fashion, then the USA might be shooting themselves in the foot here. So it's all to play for. I'm basically halfway through now, because I've got 2 more of these and 1 of that, but I'm going to be going back onto this, and I shall give you an update soon. Good luck, both of you. Hey, I finished the second third of the pull, and yeah, I don't really know like really what to say. It's just still like him going around. He went to sort of like Provincetown in like New England, and yeah, and then now he's in San Francisco, and yeah, it's just what I do quite like is the infusing of sort of like some of recent queer history at the time it's set into the book, with like subtle mentions of sort of like the AIDS crisis, and just different like organizations. Also, like there's so many like song references and art, and like films, like TV shows and like movies, and loads of different things like that, which I do really, really enjoy. I love like little references like that, and it's very like 90s focused, so yeah, so like late 80s and like early 90s like mentions, pop culture mentions, which I'm enjoying. As I was saying before, like this has been getting a bit like more interesting and things, and I was wanting to wait until I finish the second third of that to give an update on like the score, and honestly it's still probably 1-0. I feel like they have both been trying, but this is still too dense, and this is still a bit repetitive to have gotten another one. So yeah, it's honestly, this has been quite lackluster. I have enjoyed them to an extent, but at the same time they've also had their flaws. So we shall see how we continue. I'm going back to my grandmother now, and I really want to get this like read and finished and done in like 2 days, because this has been going on for so long now. So let's just see what I can do with these books from now on. Hey, so we have come to the end of the match. This is like 3 days after I think I finished this one, but I finished this one like night going into the early hours, because I was like, I just need to get this done. And then this one, I also finished it in the early hours because I need to get this done. And yep, this one, like I was saying, it was getting better as it went along, and you was understanding how things were fitting into place, and it was all coming together like quite well. I did enjoy it. I think overall it was a good, decent book. However, what's good about it is outweighed quite a lot by the extremely dense writing and meandering passages and tangents and repetition of so many things, that it makes it not as good, because you have to go through all that to get to the meaning and the crux of the story. And for that, it made the whole experience quite meh. And overall I thought it was fine, but it's nothing special. I think for star rating, I'm probably going to give this 3.25 stars. And yeah, you know, it was fine, but it just took too long to get through.
It's a little bit like eating fruitcake, this book. Is that like you have a little piece and like it's fine, like it's quite nice, like you enjoy it. But then you go to eat another bit and another bit and another bit, and you're literally just like, I'm gonna be sick. Like, it's just far too much, and it's far too dense, and you know, that's not a good analogy, but we live, we move.
So yeah, I do think that this book did score a goal, because like later on because I did like how things were fitting together, and how like the characters in all these stories Elsa's grandma was telling her were actual characters or people in like the building she lives. And I think like things just fitting into place was decent and I did like that a lot. So they did score a goal. So it got to 1-1, and then also, like I was saying, I finished this, and in a similar vein, as this goes along, it does get better, but there's also a lot of repetition in this book, and like again, tangential passages and paths. And on the whole, I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it, and I thought it was fine. There is a certain bit that like there's a certain thing, I think it's from page like 272 to 278, that might be, it's around then anyway, that that passage is just so good and so exquisite, and I absolutely loved it, because the character of Paul is he's thinking back about sort of like the more like the time frame, and back to like the late 80s, early 90s, with like the AIDS epidemic and in New York. And I just thought that part was just really, really exceptional, and I loved it. But I feel like in this book, the messages and the crux of it are good, and I didn't like them, but they're cheapened quite a lot by Lawlor's hyperfixation on the sex scenes and the characters' like sexuality, and the character, but also the characters multiple in here, that is sort of like a thing that is focused on a bit too much, and it does cheapen the message. And it's clear that like that is the focus, and in like passages that you read where like things that might be explained or described and things are not as well done as the sex scenes are in this book. So yeah, I don't really know. I did also quite enjoy that, like, there's little snippets in between about sort of like these folk tale like tales, and I feel like the messages of them are sort of an alternative origin story of Paul and how he became to being able to shape shift and change his gender. And I did enjoy them. I didn't really add anything, but I did like them. So yeah, I think this I'm probably going to give 3.5 stars to. I think I'm going to round it down to a 3 on Goodreads. Yeah. But they did, because like I said, it was 1-1. I do think this one did get another goal because just that little section was really, really good. So America does win and they proceed. And you are a giant in the women's game, and I do like you, Backman, but this book just wasn't it for me. So you are going home. Let's see how far America will go. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. It was a long time in the making, oh my. But anywho, next is coming up England versus Nigeria. I'm so excited for that. And I hope you have a nice morning, even though wherever you are in the world. And I shall be seeing you very, very soon. Bye.